Hello, I hope everybody is well. Since we got the welcome video out the way, I wanted to go ahead and just jump right on into the content. Today I want to talk to you about what is book folding. I always get asked the question when I tell people that I book fold as a craft. What is it? A lot of people are confused because they think that you're actually taking the book and folding it in half. But the correct term would be page folding, but they call it book folding because we are using the actual book. There's so many different variations of it that you could do. And I will do, like I said in my welcome video, I will do like the terms and let you guys know exactly what each one of those terms are and how you do them. But like the basic one that you would like start out with when you're doing book folding would be one that it's called measure mark fold, an MMF. And with that measure mark fold, then you would go and you would make your measurements with your ruler using your pencil. And yes, I prefer the Ticonderoga pencils. Those are my favorite. And I will do a video specifically on that Ticonderoga pencil because I love them. With the measure mark fold, you don't even have to worry about your scissors for that one because it's the basic one. So you've got your measure mark fold one. Measure mark fold, you're literally taking your ruler, you're opening your book, and then you are placing it on the page. Centimeter side is on the top. You do not want to use the inches. Let me go back and explain the fact that each pattern, it's all a pattern. It's a pattern that you use when you're trying to when you're doing book folding. So you want to make sure that that you are using the centimeter side of your ruler. They don't even make patterns in the inches. I have never seen it before. If they do, I would be quite amazed at how they get it to fit inside of a book because they honestly, I don't think it would be even possible to even do the inches side of it unless you have like a super huge book. But when you're doing the measure mark fold, then you are looking on your pattern, whatever that pattern could be. When I teach my class, I always start with the basic heart fold because it's just two measurements. So like for the one that I did here with the America one, it's multiple different measurements. Book folding is not a quick craft. It's something that actually takes time and patience. So when I tell people that I do book folding, the next question after I tell them exactly what book folding is, which is essentially just folding pages, then they say, "Oh, you must have this the patience of a saint," because they're so surprised that somebody would go through each individual page of a book in order to create something. So, like I said, when you're doing the, you're looking on your pattern, you're seeing your measurements, and you're making sure that the centimeter side is on the top, and you are making your measurements with your pencil, whatever those measurements will be. So, a lot of times when you're doing it, then it will be, they'll start with the like closer numbers will be up here at the top, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then as you go on. Most of the time you want to make sure that your book is the correct height when you're doing the measure mark fold ones, because if you don't have the correct height book, you will end up cutting off your pattern, and I have done that multiple times, and trust me, it is not fun because once you have spent all of your time doing all of the measurements and then you end up with a book that cuts the pattern off, it doesn't feel good. So you end up having to start all over again, and once you do that a couple times, then you won't make that mistake again. You will make sure that you measure your book on the patterns. Most of the patterns that you get, they will let you know what the height of the pattern is. So then you want to make sure that you take your ruler, go to your book, whatever it is, and then make sure that you have the correct height on there. So like this book right here would be 22.7. So I always go with the number that it's closest to, so it's almost 23. But you want to make sure that you've got yourself enough room. So look on your pattern. What I've been doing is I look on my pattern and I just look through it, and I see exactly what the correct amount of or the highest amount that the pattern goes to. Because when you're using your ruler or whatever, a lot of times in book folding, then it will go, it doesn't just go like by the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll go 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. So then that's the other added element in it, because you have to pay attention to whatever that pattern says. With the measure mark fold one, it's just two measurements. So then you're literally just looking on there, and then it'll say, hey, look, it's 1.5. And then the next pattern will be a 7.5. So then you will have to make sure you look in the lines here to make sure that you are hitting the right mark. Now, I have noticed sometimes that when you're making those measurements on those the multiple measurements, there's sometimes that when you're doing it, it doesn't that I haven't actually hit it exactly right. And you can actually go back and fix that. It's not something, the only time you can't fix a mistake is when you're doing the cutting. After you cut it, then it's a wrap as far as you being able to go back and try to change things. But as long as you check on your measurements to make sure that everything is lined up, then you're good. But I've even got to the point now that I'm actually, even if I mess up, then I can like course correct it before I cut, and then that way I can make sure that the pattern stays evenly as I go throughout doing my cutting. So, like I said, book folding is it's an intricate craft. When I do book folding, because I love doing puzzles. I don't know if anybody out there loves doing puzzles, but I love them. And that's actually what I was doing before, prior to me doing book folding. So I would make up puzzles, then I would put them in frames, and I was selling them. And when I decided that I wanted to do something different, I was introduced to book folding by a friend of mine. And she introduced it to me by showing it to me on Pinterest. And I don't know if anybody's been on Pinterest before, but I try to avoid Pinterest, because once you get down that rabbit hole, you cannot get out. You will spend hours looking through Pinterest and seeing all of the things that are made. But she showed me book folding, and I was immediately hooked. And I said, look, I think I can do that. I like to show my my wrist guards here, because these are like my war wounds from doing book folding so long that my wrists have started to hurt. So I've started to put these guards on here, and they've been helping out tremendously in order to take that away. So book folding, like I said, it's not an easy craft, but it is very rewarding when you're doing it. There's so many different ways that you can do that, and like I said, I will explain that on in a later video. I want to show you something else that you can do with it, and this is more like the basic things. And this is like when you don't even want to use the ruler, and you don't want to even go through the measurements part. This is actually, once it gets closer to the holidays, I'll probably show you how to do how to make things out of these. And this is a paperback book, and let me see how many pages this book has. 216 pages inside this book. So That's another thing that's really important about book folding. You want to know exactly how many pages you have. So once you know the height of the book, then you want to know how many pages you have in the book also, because that's going to be vital when you do the patterns. I know I'm talking about patterns and that, and I'll explain that in a later video too, probably my next video, so that you know exactly what it is. So a lot of times, so that's like the third question that I get asked about book folding is, how in the world do you even do that? And it's a thing to where it's not me coming up with it in my mind. Oh, okay, I'm just going to come and just do that. Now, if I did that, then I would be a multimillionaire. But no, it all starts with a pattern. Patterns can be made, or they can be bought. Now I've got to the point now to where I'm actually making my own patterns, and I'm a part of a lot of different groups where you can get patterns for free. And I love that. That's one of the best aspects about book folding, is that once you join the community, then you are grafted in basically, and then you could even become a tester for someone who makes patterns, and the tester will do those patterns and then take a picture of it and then put it in the group and let them know, hey, look, this pattern does work, it's ready to be sold, and then you can continue to increase your skills from that point. I'm working on a book now for an order. It is a 500-page book, and I've been getting a lot of from my orders. It's a lot of anniversary kind of things, which is wonderful. I love doing those books because in future videos, then I'll show you exactly what you can do to customize those orders that you have by covering the covers. A lot of people like the regular cover by itself. This is a hardcover right here, and a lot of people like the, just being able to see the real book. But then there's some that, they like that customization, so you can go ahead and you can cover that. All right, let's get back to this here. So this is a folding where you do not have to do any kind of measurements. So I literally I have the book facing up. Facing up, it literally says chapter 1 right here. So you're taking your page right here and you're folding it to the edge of the book, or the spine of the book here, and then you're just folding this down. So then after you get it, then your book should look like, your first page should look like this, if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so then you're taking that, so that's your first fold, and then you're doing it again. So you're going to take this side here, and you're going to fold it to this point also. And then you just seal that down. So now your page will look like this. So you don't want this, you want this all to be lined up. So every time you do your page on this side, you want it to be lined up. So it's going to come down. See, there's no room off to the side over here. It's all lined up with the spine of the book. And then you will want to crease this little edge piece down. See this little edge piece up here at the top? You'll want to crease that down, and then I found that you can just curl it into the back of the page. And then once you get it, then it'll look like this. So you've got your first page. And you will continue to do that, folding in the bottom of the page in to the spine, and then taking it and folding it a second time, and then making sure you crease this little lip, and then you will keep that going. Now, you can imagine going through each and every one of these pages. I wouldn't do it now because we would be here for all day. But if you continue going on with this is like something that you could do. Matter of fact, I was talking to people about book folding, and it happens. It's happened way more than once, and I'm telling people about book folding, and then they remember. Oh, I remember that we used to fold the old Reader's Digest back in the day. I have not seen it. I really do want to see what it was like, because I want to know if it's more like doing this kind of folding than it is actually using the ruler and then folding. But I am very curious about that, because I find that to be really interesting. But by continuing to do this and folding these pages, this one down and then this one into all the way to the spine, and then making sure you get the lip, this is actually how you create a few different things. So you can create the Christmas tree this way. You can create the vase this way, and multiple different things just by doing this simple pattern here, that you can turn it into a few different things. And that's the glorious part about book folding, is that you can actually do multiple different things with it. You don't have to just stick with the traditional measure mark and folding or the cutting or whatever. You can actually make different things out of books, and I like doing that too. That actually it breaks up the monotony of me doing the books. Like I said earlier, I love to do puzzles, and so when I'm doing the books, in my mind, it's almost like I'm doing a puzzle. So when I'm doing my measurements, then to me, in my mind, it's almost like I'm finding all of the pieces, overturning them, and getting them all ready. And then when I'm doing the cutting, it's like me putting the pieces together, making sure they're in the right places and stuff. And then when I'm doing the folding, it's almost like I'm finishing up the last of the puzzle, getting the final pieces in place, and then preparing that book so that it comes out looking like this. So let's recap. What is book folding? Book folding is the art of turning old books into new creations. You're folding the pages. You're making them into new creations. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's rewarding and it's fun. And if you keep following my channel, I'm sure you will enjoy it just as much as I do. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to be coming to you, like I said, with even more videos. The next video I may do the hot topics. We'll see. It just all depends. I like to come up with the videos a little bit before I do it, because it just adds to the fun of doing the video. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I hope everybody stays safe. Please subscribe to the channel, share it, please. I want to try to get this content out to as many people as possible so we can start this book folding army. Thank you for joining Where's Book Folding Corner. Have a great day.